I'm Kelly and I'm a counsellor who works with women who are navigating complex family dynamics, grief and emotional manipulation. And I want to speak directly to women today who are living with a very challenging combination, and that is experiencing narcissistic behaviour from a family member who also identifies as trans, because those two things often go hand in hand. And I know this is deeply emotional and sometimes confusing experience, because you might feel silenced, you might feel guilty for your own emotions, and you might feel unsure about whether what you're feeling is valid. And I want you to know something right now. Your feelings are real, they matter, and you're not alone. And in this video I want to explore what happens when narcissistic behaviour goes alongside gender identity in a person, and why women often feel gaslit or isolated. Hi, I'm Kelly and I'm a counsellor who works with women who are navigating complex family dynamics, grief and emotional manipulation. And I want to speak directly to women today who are living with a very challenging combination, and that is experiencing narcissistic behaviour from a family member who also identifies as trans, because those two things often go hand in hand. And I know this is deeply emotional and sometimes confusing experience, because you might feel silenced, you might feel guilty for your own emotions, and you might feel unsure about whether what you're feeling is valid. And I want you to know something right now. Your feelings are real, they matter, and you're not alone. And in this video I want to explore what happens when narcissistic behaviour goes alongside gender identity in a person, and why women often feel gaslit or isolated, and most importantly what you can do to protect your emotional well-being and reclaim your voice. So first, let's talk about narcissism and what I mean by narcissistic behaviour. What I mean when I say that is, I mean a pattern of manipulation, emotional control and self-interest that disregards others' needs, and that doesn't always look like overt arrogance. Often it's subtle. It's a constant minimising of your feelings, guilt tripping or making you question your own reality, and it's what we call gaslighting. So for women with trans-identifying family members, narcissistic behaviours can show up in very specific ways. So it could be that your feelings are dismissed as transphobic or not supportive enough. Boundaries are reframed as rejection or ignored altogether. And emotional guilt is leveraged to control your actions or words. And many women don't realise how much energy they spend walking on eggshells, constantly trying not to upset their loved one. That's emotional labour. It's invisible, it's exhausting, and it's rarely acknowledged. So take a moment now to reflect. Are there situations in your family where you feel anxious, hesitant or drained because you're unsure what reaction your loved one will have? That feeling is significant. It's your body and mind signalling that the dynamics you're in are not emotionally safe. Let's explore how these dynamics can specifically play out when a family member identifies as trans. In some cases, narcissistic behaviour can exploit the topic of gender identity to manipulate or silence women. For example, you might express concern or discomfort about the changes in the relationship, and it's reframed as hostility or a lack of acceptance. Attempts to discuss boundaries or personal feelings might be met with accusations of invalidating their identity or not loving them enough. Your words might be twisted and repeated back to you in a way that makes you doubt your own intentions. And I've worked with many women who describe feeling trapped, feeling they must constantly monitor their speech, hide their thoughts or suppress their grief, and they're told that disagreement or honest emotion equals cruelty, even when it's simply a natural response to a major change in a loved one. And this manipulation is subtle but effective. It chips away at your confidence and your self-trust, and you might begin to question whether your feelings are justified or even whether you have the right to express them. So reflect for a moment. Have you ever felt that expressing yourself honestly would cause guilt, conflict or shame? That reaction's not a failing on your part, it's a response to manipulative behaviour. The emotional impact of these dynamics can be profound. Women often experience guilt for feeling upset or hurt, isolation because they fear speaking out or being judged, anxiety and hypervigilance, always anticipating that conflict, ambiguous loss, mourning the person or the relationship that existed before the changes. Ambiguous loss is a grief without closure. The person is still physically present, but the relationship feels different or unattainable. It's confusing because the loss is inevitable to others and yet very real for you. These emotional responses are natural. They're your mind and body's way of signaling that you are in a stressful and unsupportive environment. Recognizing them is the first step towards protecting yourself and seeking help. Take a moment now, identify one feeling you've been minimizing or ignoring. Name it, and because giving it a voice is a small but powerful step towards reclaiming your emotional well-being. So what can you do? How can you navigate these dynamics safely while maintaining your own well-being? Well, the first step is setting clear boundaries. Decide what topics, behaviours or interactions are off limits for your mental health and communicate them calmly and firmly. You don't have to justify your boundaries endlessly. The second thing you can do is self-care and grounding. Regularly check in with your own emotions. Practices like journaling, meditation, or speaking with trusted friends can help you to regulate your anxiety and maintain perspective. The third thing that you can do is to seek professional support. Counselling provides a safe space to process grief, anger, guilt, and fear without judgment, and it allows you to build strategies for navigating family interactions, to set boundaries confidently, and to reclaim your voice. The fourth thing you can do is to recognise manipulation. Learning to identify narcissistic tactics such as guilt tripping, gaslighting, and emotional blackmail gives you the clarity to respond rather than react. Awareness is empowering. Fifth thing you can do is to connect with supportive communities. Finding women who understand your experiences can reduce isolation and can reinforce that your feelings are valid. Remember that setting boundaries or prioritising your own well-being, it's not betrayal, it's essential self-protection. If this video has resonated with you, I want to reassure you again that your feelings are valid and you're allowed to experience grief, anger, confusion without shame. You don't need to compromise your mental health to accommodate someone else's identity or behaviour. Professional counselling can help you navigate these complex emotions safely, and if you'd like support, I offer consultations where we can talk about your situation in a non-judgmental, confidential space. My focus is helping women like you to regain clarity, confidence, and emotional well-being while managing difficult family dynamics. You deserve to be heard, validated, and supported. So reach out today if you want to take the first step. And remember, you're not alone. Your experiences are real and your voice matters. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.